See what this baby's got inside it.
Hey, what's up, guys? Brett from Hapticast Intro here.
Bark, bark, you.
Who suck you off, Bill?
Oh, Josh, I hear screaming.
Oh yeah!
Gone. The controller's gone.
Look at that. You look fucking fantastic.
Welcome to Haptic HQ.
I'm not gonna do it.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to Hapticast episode number, I think it's 97. My name is Josh Tull, and I'm joined by my good friend, Brett Roberts. As always, Brett, hello, how are you?
What's up?
What's up is YouTube says our audio bitrate is 0, but that is a lie. It's a lie.
I can test that right now.
You can test it right now, but I'm pretty sure it's a lie.
It's a lie.
I know it's a lie because I see the levels and nothing's muted, so
I'm here to tell you right now, it's a lie.
I'm here to tell you YouTube is bad.
Well, that's not wrong.
So, how are you?
I'm good, man. I'm good. A lot of stuff to talk about today. It was a busy weekend. A lot of stuff leaked, and a lot of stuff happened and went down. And you know, we're here to talk about all that.
What happened?
A lot of games leaked.
I thought you were referring to something else.
No. There was a big PlayStation game that leaked, which we're going to talk about, and there's a mini Xbox conference, a showcase that we're going to be talking about, and some other stuff. So I'm excited for that.
Yeah. Should be good. Sorry, I'm just stalling here while I get my YouTube thing back up because I don't like YouTube. Okay, so here's what we got for everybody today. First of all, we're going to talk about something for the 100th episode, which we'll get to in a second. But what we're really going to be talking about today is, let's see, Dead by Daylight, losing rights, unfortunately.
Talking big character.
Yeah, talking about the movie Megan, which we both saw, but we have something regarding Megan over the weekend. Like you said, the new Sony IP has been leaked. Xbox potentially coming out with a big, quote-unquote developer showcase this month. And then, of course, our main topic is talking about The Last of Us, the HBO series getting ready to premiere here soon. But we have reviews out for it, and we're going to talk about that. But the first thing, housekeeping, before we do anything else, Brett, is What do we have going? We teased it last week. But what do we have going on for the 100th episode, and what can people do regarding that?
So if you've been following the channel for a while, you might know we released some merch a couple of weeks back, a couple months back, actually. We call ourselves the Slick Boys, right? And, we tried to come up with like an alternate name for like what our, viewers could be called and what we could be called as a collective. And I think the thing we came up with was the Cult of Slick.
Mm-hmm.
We're all a bunch of like-minded people that like the same thing. We all like games. We like movies. We like entertainment. We like horror. We like, badass shit, right?
Right.
So together we are the Cult of Slick. And what that means, ladies and gentlemen, is that for our 100th episode of Hapticast, we are going to be doing something very special. We're going to let the Cult call in. I don't know what you're playing. I'm playing. What are you doing?
Nothing. You're speaking. The number's on the screen for the video viewers.
There is a phone number on the screen right now, apparently. And if you call that number, you can leave a message, and we will play it on our 100th episode. Ask us a question. If you want to just, get some feedback on something, if you need some help in your life, call in, leave a message. If you want to just leave an application for why you should be accepted into the Cult of Slick, that's fine too. But we're going to be playing as many of them as possible. So go ahead and call. The number is 904 True Cult. That's 904 TRUCULT. And then there's an actual phone number, which I don't have in front of me.
It's 904-878-2858.
A lot of eights. A lot of eights in there. But yeah, give us a call. Call the Cult of Slick. There's a nice little voicemail message for you, and leave a message for us, and we're going to play it on the show. We might even be doing, I don't know if this is possible, but we might even be able to take callers.
Oh,
live.
sure. Yeah.
So maybe if you're lucky, when we're out live doing the 100th episode, you can call in, and we'll actually answer and patch you in live on the show. So that's that.
Total full warning, though. You'd be kicked out immediately and banned forever if you do anything not good when you do that. So
that's right. Don't say anything bad. we do a good job of not doing that ourselves, so we ask that you do the same.
Yeah. And if you do that, then we're going to take you to court. So
we're going to sue you for everything you got, and you're no longer in the cult of Slick.
that's right. And that's even worse. So
and then it'll just be the two of us, Josh. It'll just be me and you. So make sure
that
you
man is so bad.
make sure you don't be bad, because if you are, then it'll just be the two of us in the cult of Slick.
What's that guy's name?
No idea. I forget.
Okay. Well, he's bad, but also really good. So.
So
Oh boy. All right. Well, do that. That number's on the screen.
yeah, give us a call.
Yeah, we'll leave it there for now. So you can call now, leave a message. We're not taking live calls right now, but you can do that for now.
Maybe that'll be a feature of the show in the future.
That would be awesome. That would
Yeah.
be great. You can call regarding the topic, have a question for us, a video game question, whatever. Could do that. That'd be awesome.
Right.
All right, let's hop into a proper Brett media
Yeah.
consumption update. What are you playing, watching, doing?
All right, so I want to start off by saying that you and I, like you mentioned, we went and saw the film Megan.
Unfortunately.
The trailer went viral. It was getting rave reviews. It was in the 90s, right? We thought it was just okay.
The movie's fine.
Let's talk more about that later, because one of our topics is about the film Megan, the horror
Yeah.
film. So let's skip that for now.
I do want to say that I fucking hate movie theaters, though. Continued.
Yeah, I think I'm done.
And I bit the bullet, and I went out because it's the last time that we were going to be out with our friend Brandon for a while until he has his PhD. So I went. I don't know what else to say other than, and I think about this often, right? I've been done with movie theaters. I made an exception. I went to this. I'm really done with movie theaters after going again with the abysmal situations. We had the Crinkle King next to me. We had freaking the hyenas in front of us. We had Mouth Breather right behind me. We had fucking lady that's freaking sighing the whole movie to our back. Like, it was just abysmal the whole fucking time, right?
Yeah.
But my thing is I feel like us as movie connoisseurs, goers, people that like film, right?
Yeah.
Directors and Hollywood and studios always like, go out to the movies, support theaters, whatever. And I have no problem doing that. But here's the thing. If you want us to do that, something's got to give. Because the theater experience is abysmal. It's more expensive than it ever has been before, and it's as abysmal as it's ever been before. So you want us to go to the theaters, call AMC, call Regal, call your local theater chains and tell them to get a fucking grip, because it's not worth my time or money right now. So I'm not going to go to the theater and support your movie. I'm going to pirate it instead.
Well, the theaters are dying, and then they're not going to be able to, they don't have the money to like hire someone to police that. That's the problem.
I don't know. Alamo Drafthouse seems to have a fine time with it. Here's the rule. You speak or take your phone out during a movie, you're gone forever and you're never allowed back in. That's it. You want to make the experience better? Do that. Hire more people to clean the theater. That's it. Because it's fucking abysmal and it's turds. So don't tell me to go to the theater if it's a waste of my fucking time and money. Okay?
Right.
All right.
Yeah, I don't like it at all. I had a bad time. And the film was just okay, but we'll talk about that in a little bit. I also watched the new film, The Menu. Had a great time with this movie.
Good.
I laughed more than I thought I would. I thought it was going to be very pretentious, and it is, but it's self-aware.
Mm-hmm.
So I had a good time with this, and I recommend it to you, especially because I think you'll like it.
Good to hear.
All right, so some games I've been playing. There's a big one that I have to announce right now. Let me find the right sound effect to go with it. Let's see here. What do we got? Ladies and gentlemen, I got the platinum in Rayman Legends.
Welcome
right.
to the cum zone.
God.
So it's over. I don't have to play that game ever again. Every day I've been playing it, and now it's complete.
And how long did it take you?
Literally years.
Like 8 years. Almost
It would
8.
probably-
Almost 8 years.
It would probably take, if you just did it and you committed, it would probably take you a couple of months. It took me a couple of months over 8 years.
Mm-hmm.
So
I think you should just tell people that it took you 8 years, though. Sounds better.
it does sound better, but it makes me sound like I'm really bad, and I'm not.
Oh, well, you are, but...
No, I'm good at that game.
Well, at that game, I'm just saying the fact that respect that you committed yourself for that long to do it.
Yeah. They could probably hire me to be a developer for Rayman Legends too, and I'd probably be the best developer they ever had in their lives. So anyway, I did it. Oh, you know what? There was actually a better sound effect I could have played. Where is it? It was right next to Bad to the Bone, dude. I really fumbled the bag there. I really fucking fumbled the bag. So yeah, Rayman Legends, done it. Overwatch 2, I played a little bit with you. That game's unbearable. They need to fix it. It's bad. I read it online today that they're going to nerf Roadhog and take his hook away.
What?
I'm done.
That's the whole point of his character.
I'm done, dude. I'm done. I'll play a little bit more. I'll try it. If it's still bad, I'm out. I'll drop it like I did Apex. I don't care. And then I've been playing Pokemon Scarlet. I know, like I said, I beat it a couple weeks ago, but there was post-game stuff to do. So I actually went back and beat every gym leader again. It was super easy.
Oh my God.
And then they do a tournament at the school, and it's you versus it's basically like another Elite Four, but it's like students and teachers from the school. That was also really fucking easy. And now I'm officially done, I think. So I'm just kind of trying to catch all the Pokemon to fill the Pokedex. Now, the next thing I want to talk to you about is a TV show that I've been watching. It's on Peacock. And Josh, I cannot believe how good it is. It is called Paul T. Goldman. And the name does not sound very appealing. And you're going to see an image of the show, and you're going to go, that looks abysmal. It's just this old guy named Paul T. Goldman, right? I'm here to tell you, put that all aside. The director of the show was a writer and a producer on Nathan For You. Several other projects with Nathan Fielder. He's a genius. And what they have crafted is, and I don't want to say too much because I think it's best to go in with as little as possible, but I have to give you a little taste. There's a man named Paul T. Goldman. He was married to this woman, and very clearly she was scamming him for money. And the show is a true crime story about him and his wife. Okay. The thing is, Paul T. Goldman wrote a book about the whole situation called Duplicity. And then after he wrote Duplicity and sold it on Amazon, he wrote a screenplay. And the show is a mixture of, and this is all, he's a real person. This isn't like a written show. This is a documentary style, right? So it's like a true crime documentary style thing about him and his story with his wife, but it stitches in clips of them and the director filming his adaptation of his own book. And he insists that he plays himself. And he is so fucking bad, dude, at acting and as a human being in general. I can't even stress that enough. So you get like this like true crime documentary, but then mixed in just Nathan For You style comedy, dude. And he does not realize, like, he doesn't get it, dude, but he's the bit, basically.
So he's Tommy Wiseau, pretty much.
Literally, yes.
Yeah, that's awesome.
But he's writing it, and like the director will be directing, and he's like, hold on, I want to try something else. And he'll like literally just like be the director of the movie, and it's bad, dude.
That's awesome.
So really funny. There's 4 episodes out. There's 6 episodes total. They release weekly. So I highly recommend it.
I was in regardless because you and our friend Steven were talking about it a lot. And I knew there was some sort of tangential relationship to Nathan Fielder. So with that, I was in.
Right.
But I'm really in after hearing that.
We text each other while we're watching it. And dude, I honestly, I want to like, I know you want to wait for it to be done to watch it.
Here's what's going to happen. I'm going to do it. I'm going to watch it all tonight. Okay. They're what, 30-minute episodes?
Dude, they're so short. They're 20 to 30 minutes.
Okay, I'm going to watch it all tonight, and then we'll watch the next 2 together.
That's what I was going to say. I kind of want to like watch it with you guys. Because it comes out on Sundays.
Sundays.
On Sundays, yeah. So like we could totally like stream it together and watch it.
Absolutely.
It would be so fucking funny, dude.
All right.
And honestly,
I'm sold.
Don't know where it goes after episode 4. No idea.
I'm sold. I don't need to know where it goes, but I'm in. I'll do it tonight. You have my word.
So, highly recommend that. So, and then Chainsaw Man, obviously.
Got to catch up with that too.
That show is fucking phenomenal.
Yeah, I think I'm 2 episodes behind now. I saw up through episode 7.
Yeah, there's 8, 9, and 10.
Oh, okay. So I'm 3 episodes behind.
Yeah, and a lot of good stuff happens. So
Well, very bad stuff happened with the last episode I watched. So, but all right,
That's all I got.
cool.
What do you got?
For me, I'll stay on TV since we're on that. Finished my rewatch of Battlestar Galactica.
How was it?
Dude, I know. We talked about this a lot last week, so I won't go too much into it again. I don't really have anything else new to say, other than, dude, the ending to Battlestar Galactica. You think of great TV endings of all time, right? I think Breaking Bad, right, as like truly a perfect ending.
Right.
Battlestar Galactica fucking blows that ending out of the water.
Do I know the ending? Is it like a very popular ending that would have gotten like spoiler for me?
Not necessarily. I don't think.
Is it even like a spoilable ending?
The thing is, dude, not really. Like, there's one thing that happens at the very, very end, which I would say even telling you the premise of it isn't even a spoiler, because it's such a show. The ending is a conclusion of the full journey, and how they get to that ending is actually the spoiler, not the ending itself.
Gotcha.
Okay. And what I'm going to tell you, and it's my last appeal to you. First of all, if you ever are going to watch this, you must touch base with me, because I must give you the correct order. And there are some things on our service that we have that need to be corrected before, if you're going to go into it proper.
Oh, you should tell me what that is anyway.
Yes, well, there's several things. I actually made a list, because as I was watching, I have it all on Blu-ray, but sometimes I was watching it and I was like, I just want to lay in bed and watch this, because I have my Surface, which you can call me abysmal, but sometimes it's just like, I want to just lay in bed and watch this now. So I was watching it on that while I was also watching my Blu-rays. And when I got to season 4, I was like, oh, there's some issues here. And there's a couple of other things that they're easy to correct. They're just like extended episodes we need to add. There's extras that are missing, stuff like that. So, anyway, the very end, very end has your favorite trope in all of media in it.
Don't even have to say it. I know what it is.
And it's a time skip. And when I tell you, it is the fucking most insane, perfect ending time skip you've ever seen in your life, I truly mean it. Because I'm bawling, right? I'm bawling crying from the ending. It's a bittersweet ending, but it's a perfect ending. It's literally perfect. And then there's a time skip. And I remember the first time watching it, I was blown away. And then watching it again, I was like, it's like they made a perfect landing, and then they somehow made an even more perfect landing.
Then everybody gets off the ship and they're all waving to the crowd.
And it's like everybody gets out and just starts clapping congratulations. And it's like the ending is truly perfect, and then it is even more perfect, and it's so good. And again, it's such a product of its time, with, post 9/11, the war on terror, the literal, acceleration of AI, which I think watching it again right now, specifically even the last couple of months with what's going on with AI, with Chat GPT and this new Microsoft thing and all that stuff, like, it's really, really prescient right now again too. So that's my final appeal to you. I think it's the best thing ever made in media wise. I'm excited too to see, because they're supposed to be making a movie and a new series. I'll be interested to see how that goes, because this series is a quote-unquote reimagining of the original 70s one, but the original 70s one is still technically canon in this show. You don't need to watch the original 70s one.
There's a lot going on right now.
Don't watch it. But there's a way that they could continue this series without being a direct continuation, and I hope they do that rather than completely redoing it again. So anyway, that's where I'll leave it. I love that show. Finished it. I might make it an annual rewatch for a little bit, like I did Breaking Bad. So we'll see. Games. You mentioned Overwatch 2. I feel the same way about you. Playing a lot of Marvel Snap, which I know you are as well, right? Too.
Yeah. Yep.
And then the other
Not
thing,
as much as I was, but still playing it. Yeah.
Okay. And the other thing I started was the Final Fantasy VII Intermission Yuffie DLC.
What is this?
The Final Fantasy VII Yuffie DLC. The intermission.
You're playing that
for the remake? Yes, I'm playing it.
Is it good?
No.
Well, then why are you playing it?
Because, so here's the thing. Okay. we both played Final Fantasy VII Remake, and I liked it. I liked the characters, and I liked the stories, and I liked the combat. I had a lot of issues with the game, though. Right now,
Right.
I've heard that you must play the Crisis Core remake before you play Part 2 of Final Fantasy VII Remake. Otherwise, you're going to be missing key information.
Yeah.
For the next part of Final Fantasy VII.
Because the main character in that is going to be in there.
Right, but I had no idea that I had to play this before the next part of Final Fantasy VII Remake. Since the next part of Final Fantasy VII Remake is probably coming out this year or next year, I was like, I got to play the Yuffie DLC because there's something with it in Crisis Core, and then I got to play Crisis Core before the next Final Fantasy VII.
Right.
Final Fantasy 16 is not coming out for a little bit, and I really was
17?
16. Yeah. And I was really kind of hankering for a Final Fantasy type combat. So I was like, let's try Yuffie. And dude, an hour into it, I'm like, I fucking remember why I disliked so many parts of Final Fantasy VII Remake.
Right.
It fucking takes forever to go anywhere. It takes 30 minutes to climb a ladder. You gotta climb back down the same fucking ladder. You gotta fucking shimmy through a thing. You gotta fucking walk at a glacial pace. Somebody just gives you expository dialogue. Every door you go into, you can't fucking walk. You fucking move at a glacial pace. And I'm like, oh, right. This is encompassing all the things I fucking hated about Final Fantasy VII Remake.
Right.
And I'm not going to be continuing that DLC.
Played Final Fantasy VII Remake, had expectations, went back, same expectations. I mean, nothing changed. It's the same game.
I like the combat is awesome, and I want to know what's going on with the story. But dude, it's so...
That game is awesome.
It's so annoying to play when you're out of combat. It's so just absolutely cumbersome and annoying to play. And I'm like a fourth of the way through it because it's not that long. And I'm like, do I really want to subject myself to this? And I don't know the answer to that.
I don't know what to tell you.
It's so frustrating. It's so frustrating.
When I saw this, I thought you were playing the remake that just came out.
No, not yet. I'm playing this so I can play the Crisis Core remake.
Right.
Because apparently we have to. But I don't know, man.
So where are you what's making you want, like, where are you, do you listen to podcasts? Like where are you like hearing about this?
Mainly through podcasts.
And they're saying definitely play Crisis Core remake?
Yeah, because I listened to the first, I was interested in the game anyway. But I listened to the first 20 minutes, the non-spoiler section of a spoiler cast for Last Stand Media, Colin Moriarty, and all of them. And they're like, you have to play this before you play Part 2 of Final Fantasy VII Remake.
And they said it's good.
Yes, they said it's very good. I was only in the non-spoiler part, and they said you must play it, and you must play the Yuffie DLC before playing Crisis Core. And I was like, fuck. All right.
Damn. Well, I didn't know that, so I'm gonna have to do that now.
Yeah. So, but oh god, dude, I don't know what else to say. Movies. We talked about Megan. We'll talk about that in a minute. And the last thing I added, which is not really a movie, but I wanted to mention it, is we watched the Kenny Omega's New Japan match, versus what's his name, Will Ospreay.
Will Ospreay. Yeah.
That was an awesome match. You know, I like wrestling. I'm not obviously nowhere near as big of a fan or involved as you are, but when I when I like a match, like I like a match, and that was a fucking awesome match. And New Japan Wrestling
fantastic.
is really cool. So
New Japan's awesome. Hopefully Will Ospreay is going to come to AEW so he can have bangers like that with Kenny all the time.
Yeah.
So yeah, I forgot about that actually. When you wrote KO match, I was like, what are you talking about?
Kenny
Omega. Okay.
Kenny.
Well, I have, speaking of wrestling, Josh, breaking news. This was sent over by our good friend Steven. I don't know if he's watching right now, but if he is, shout out to Steven for sending this over. Huge news in the wrestling world. Stephanie McMahon has resigned from WWE.
Damn.
Following her dad's return to the company.
Damn. Good for her, dude.
About 8 months ago, I took a leave of absence, and within a few weeks, unexpectedly had the opportunity of a lifetime. I had the privilege to return as the co-CEO and chairwoman of the board of WWE. I cannot put into words how proud I am to have led what I consider to be the greatest company in the world, working alongside a remarkable leadership team and one of my strongest executives I have known in my co-CEO, Nick Khan. Our founder, Vince McMahon, has returned as executive chair and is leading an exciting process regarding strategic alternatives. And with Nick's leadership and Paul Triple H Levesque, which is her husband, as chief content officer, I'm confident WWE is in the perfect place to continue to provide unparalleled creative content and drive maximum value for shareholders. WWE is in such a strong position that I have decided to return to my leave and take it one step further with my official resignation.
Yeah, that's cool, but that ain't why you're leaving, pal.
Rest in piss, bozo. That's what Steven would say.
God.
I mean, it's clear.
Yeah.
What happened here?
Yeah. They're selling it to Saudi Arabia, and she has no rights there. So,
right. I mean, yeah, that's abysmal. So,
no meme.
Anywho,
no meme. I mean, women cannot own a business or run a company in Saudi Arabia. So, if you're selling it to the Saudi family, which you are,
point. That's a great point.
That's exactly why she's leaving. We're selling it to Saudi Arabia. You legally cannot be in charge. Goodbye.
Wow. Well, ladies and gentlemen, that's fucking abysmal, and you heard it here first. Josh.
Yes.
Very important ad read for you. Oh, wait, you have to roll the intro first. Do that. I forgot about that part. Ladies and gentlemen, if you didn't know, Haptic Intel was sponsored by DUBBY Energy. I'm here to tell you that DUBBY was formulated to give you focus and energy with no jitters or crashes. Their formula contains vitamins, amino acids, and nootropics, including the patented
Neurofactor,
ladies and gentlemen. So listen, there's no calories, there's no sugars, no artificial colors, no fillers, none of the bad stuff. All that good stuff, though. Your current energy drink may cost anywhere from $2 to $3 per can, but I'm here to tell you right now, DUBBY Energy costs $1 per drink. That's right, $1 per drink. And listen, if you find it hard to work or study, use code SLICK and save on DUBBY. That's right, save 10% today on your DUBBY.GG order using code SLICK. And when you do, the 10% that you save goes right back to us and supports the show. So thank you for that. And matter of fact, while we're talking about it, Josh, I believe they just launched a new
already
initiative.
up behind us. Yep.
DUBBY is declaring a war, ladies and gentlemen. It is wartime. And with this, they've unleashed a new flavor, which is blueberry big energy tears, which is awesome. I'm definitely digging the blueberry. But all this sweet camo merch with their logo on it as well.
That's right.
So you can save 10% on not just the big energy tears tub of dub, but also all of the merchandise that you see on your screen right now, including the new blue shaker cup. So use code SLICK.
Which I like.
I like that too. That's a nice shaker cup with
matches
the white.
My eyes.
Matches something else too, dude. Our shirts, which you can also get at hapticintel.com/merch.
Merch. Yep.
Yeah, go check that out. But yeah, use code SLICK, SLICK on DUBBY.GG. Save 10% on all their merch and their shaker cups and their tubs of dub and all that, and the big energy fears and all that good stuff.
Yeah. I don't know why you played the fart song behind the ad read.
Was that a problem?
I don't know. They might look at it and be like, nah, we're pulling you.
I don't care.
We're pulling you.
DUBBY Energy, DUBBY.GG.
All right, Brett, let's move on.
I don't care. Okay, Josh. Video game releases. What do you got for me?
Only one. One Piece Odyssey. Coming to PS5, PS4, Xbox Series X and S, Xbox One PC on January 13th, which is 3 days from now. Time of recording.
Yeah.
So that's it. That's the only game for now. And then starting next week, look out. So.
Yeah, and this is a pretty big game if you're a fan of One Piece and
Mhm.
anime games. So that's cool. But if you're a big fan of anime and these kind of games, I got news for you. Next week, Persona, baby.
Coming to Game Pass, by the way, which I
Coming to
forgot
Game
and was
Pass.
reminded today.
Yep.
So, believe
Definitely be on the look.
Believe those are the 19th. So,
Yes.
we'll be streaming once more before then.
All right, let's jump into the Abysmal Chronicles, Josh.
Mm.
These are stories that are just a little bit too abysmal to be our main topic. So, the first one. Would you like me to cover these ones?
Oh, sure.
So, Dead by Daylight is losing the rights to one of its most popular characters.
Bye-bye.
Leatherface. They will be removing him from storefronts. This is coming from Leaks DBD on Twitter, one of the most reputable leakers in the Dead by Daylight community. So Leatherface will presumably receive the same treatment as the Stranger Things content in Dead by Daylight, which means you'll still be able to play him if you bought him before it was removed, but he will be permanently unavailable to purchase after a certain date. And the leaker claims that this is due to the upcoming Texas Chainsaw Massacre game, which is apparently going to be a competitor to Dead by Daylight.
Right. It's supposed to be a similar kind of asymmetrical multiplayer game.
Right.
Listen, I think the biggest concern with this, right, is that, if I already bought it, how can you take it away? That's not the case here, right? However, it's still abysmal that, content that was previously available is being removed. But also not necessarily surprising. I mean, I feel like that's always the case with stuff like this, right? Is like rights and licenses kind of ebb and flow and go back and forth, and it's kind of a risk you take, right? I think we've also seen similar stuff with like Mortal Kombat in the past and things like that. So, it sucks that new people can't get it, but at least people that already bought it won't be losing it. So,
right. All right. Next story. And this one is abysmal for a very specific reason. So it might sound like a good thing, but stay with me here. Megan, writer, says a gorier, unrated cut of the film might be coming soon. This is coming from Polygon. So Megan has already taken the world by storm, raking in huge box office returns and garnering speculation about a sequel after just its first weekend. But it turns out we may not have to wait for the sequel for more Megan. Screenwriter Akilah Cooper, and I hope I'm saying that right, Akilah. Akilah Cooper,
who is awesome, by the way,
told the Los Angeles Times there may be an unrated version of Megan on the way that's way gorier than the PG-13 theatrical cut. Cooper didn't say just how much the unrated version would change, but she did reveal a few details, including the fact that it would include a lot more murder. Quote, Megan's body count in the script was a lot higher than in the movie. It wasn't a Gabriel, which is the character from Malignant. It wasn't a Gabriel scale massacre, but she did kill a bunch more people, Cooper said. It stands to reason that a version with a much higher body count might also up the PG-13 movie's gore considerably, which, given that Cooper also wrote James Wan's Malignant, shouldn't come as a surprise. Now, I don't know where the notes went for this part that I want to say, Josh, but Cooper, the writer of the film, claimed that the reason the film was given the PG-13 rating and the script was changed was because once the first trailer for the film came out and it went viral, they decided to keep it at PG-13, take things out of the film in order to make it so that those teenagers that were, making the trailer go viral could actually see the film. That is abysmal.
I understand that from a studio perspective. And, maybe if I was a studio executive, I would do the same thing. But here is the thing. You look at the screenwriter for this, right? And you look at Malignant. Malignant was rated R. That movie was fucking bonkers.
Awesome.
Megan, what's the first thing we all said to each other when it was over?
I don't know what. It was meh.
That movie didn't go far enough.
Right.
It wasn't crazy enough. Right? And it's because of the PG-13 rating. And I'm telling you, it felt like the studio had, because I was like, this is not the same person that created this. There's just no way. Because there's like hints of absolute insanity, but it backs off, right? Almost immediately. And I want to see what the actual original written intended cut was of the movie, because clearly it was filmed, it was shot, right? And then it was removed because of the marketing for it.
Yeah.
And
It went viral.
And that's a shame. And I'm so sick of studios like rated R horror movies will still do just as well as PG-13 horror movies. You've seen it time and time and time again.
They just wanted the kids to be able to go see it, though, you know?
Fuck them. Who cares? Who cares about them?
Money.
Stop appealing to the least common denominator.
What about money?
Fuck money.
I'm with you. I agree. I'm just playing devil's advocate here. All right. Well, that's all I got for you in the Abysmal Chronicles, Josh. Why don't you hit me with the exciting news we have in the Slick Stories?
I don't know if I would call it super exciting, at least this first one, but...
What do you mean?
Listen, dude. I don't know about this. Let's see.
Ooze. Sony's Ooze. You're not excited for Ooze?
No. Footage of a brand new Sony IP has leaked. Brett, I'm actually going to play this behind us while... Well,
we're not going to get copyright strikes for it, are we?
That's actually a good point. I just thought about that, and I'm going to stop myself. I'll show you this screenshot, but that's it. That's all you get.
There's not much to it.
There's not much to it. So the game is apparently a sci-fi RPG based in Unreal Engine 5. It's being developed through XDev in partnership with an external studio. XDev is Sony support shit, right? Their development pipeline. The studio behind this is still unconfirmed. However, we do know they're based in Europe. Dusk Golem, who is a leaker on Twitter,
notorious horror game leaker,
yeah, confirmed that this is the quote-unquote Ooze game, which was a previously rumored new Sony IP, and that this footage is from an old build of the game. If you watch the footage, it's very rudimentary. Okay.
Yeah.
So Dusk Golem commented on Reset Era and said this, quote, "While obviously I can't say if this will come out or not, I'll mention I personally have seen a lot more of this game and more recent stuff of this game than this clip. Not this clip, but the game itself beyond this clip is at least at a point currently where the game is fully voice acted, music composed specifically for it, being far more fine-tuned than this clip." Dusk Golem also further commented on Reddit and said, quote, "I decided to read people's reactions to Ooze. Ooze is a nickname I attribute to the project rather than what it will be called. The nickname will make more and more sense when people get to see more of this whenever they do. It's a very gooey game, more than this clip even suggests."
I don't think the clip suggests it's ooey or gooey at all.
Yeah, no. And then just last point that we could talk about it. It says a recent finding seems to indicate that the studio behind this title may be People Can Fly, developers of Painkiller, Bulletstorm, and Gears of War Judgment, and Outriders. That last point is very, very interesting, Brett. And I'll tell you why it makes sense. People Can Fly was canned, or they were basically sidelined, dissimulated from, was it Ubisoft, right? Who did Outriders?
Yeah, I believe so.
Whoever the studio is that published Outriders, which is a shame because I heard Outriders is good. And I still actually really want to try it. So that makes sense. And it's interesting, through this XDev stuff, if PlayStation's going to kind of test them out and see what they can do. Really, other than oh my god, Bungie, PlayStation doesn't typically go and purchase outside studios or bring them in-house and make them first party until there's some sort of relationship there. Typically, usually there's some sort of relationship there before they do that, and this XDev pipeline is basically essentially for that. So interesting. I'll tell you why I'm not that excited though.
Why?
Can we please have something that is not a third-person shooter from PlayStation? Please. Something that is not a third-person shooting game.
I get that.
Please. Not even shooting, just a third-person action game. Something else. Please. Please, something else. It's not... I love all of the first-party games, but can we please get something else? Anything, a first-person shooter, please.
So here's why I'm excited for it, and I do see what you mean, and I agree. It is the third-person thing with PlayStation is nuts, dude. I mean, it's literally all they can make right now at this point. That being said, this game is my shit, dude. In the clip, you'll see a giant kaiju climbing a tower. Don't know what's going on there, but if it's a kaiju in the game, I'm interested. And if you look, in the distance, and maybe you can kind of skim through the video and to show this. I don't know.
I already closed out of it. I don't want to risk it.
There's a giant eyeball in the sky.
Oh, yeah.
So
You can actually see it in this image right here.
Yeah,
That's
so I
fine.
don't know what that is, but that's my shit, dude. Giant monsters is my shit.
Mhm.
Plus, Dust Golem, who is usually a horror leaker who knows a lot about like Resident Evil and Silent Hill stuff, is the one leaking this. So it makes you think there's got to be, it's sci-fi. It's got to have some horror in there, maybe, if he's, finding out about it. So also it's ooze, dude. I'm in it for the ooze. Ivan Ooze.
Do you get... So when I first watched it, I was like, oh, Resistance. Do you get Resistance vibes from it?
Yeah, it looks like a PS3 game.
Yeah.
From
Well,
the
yeah, but I
graphics.
mean just in general. Like,
For sure. Definitely. And he said it's way further along than that clip. It's interesting that that's what leaked, but
yeah. I don't know, man. I mean, I'm not obviously going to knock it before anything. And it's not like I mean, I love every PlayStation first party game. I really do. There has been one that came out that I'm like, that's fucking turds.
yeah.
But I don't know, man. Like, I would like some different stuff, please. At some point, at some point, I really would. So, all right. Anything else on that?
Stay tuned.
All right. Flipping the script from PlayStation going to Xbox. Xbox is apparently rumored to hope that they will host a new developer direct show format this month featuring ZeniMax titles, Forza, and more. This is coming from Jez Corden, who is the managing editor at Windows Central and podcaster at Xbox 2 Podcast. So it may be part of a new initiative from Microsoft and Xbox to offer information on upcoming games more frequently outside of the major E3 and Game Awards marketing beats. This makes sense. PlayStation and Nintendo already do this. Slated for January 25th at 12 p.m. Pacific time on Xbox's official channels on Twitch and YouTube. It won't be a full-blown E3 scale kind of show, but Starfield may even be skipping the show for a bigger marketing beat later on. This seems pretty much all but confirmed, Brett, and I think it's good. I think Xbox needs to come out swinging on this. There's some games that are in the pipeline that need to start hitting, or, I mean, they're going to be even more trouble than they already are. So what do you think about this?
I don't think this is going to be anything crazy, to be honest with you. It's their first one. I don't think they're going to go too big. I think it's the world's worst kept secret that they're going to be doing this new direct style thing.
Mm-hmm.
People have been talking about it since late December. It's been rumored. They bought a new studio. A lot of people have been talking about the new studio and what they're going to be using it for. I think we're going to get some stuff like Redfall.
Yep.
Games that are coming soonish. I don't think maybe they'll tease one big game that we haven't heard of or a development update of a big game. But I don't anticipate this being E3 level, which they said that in the leak. It's not going to be a full-blown E3 style show.
So just to kind of rattle some off, other potential games that might be there is Avowed. We haven't seen anything from that in a while, although I highly doubt that's Obsidian. I highly doubt that's going to be there. I feel like that game is the furthest off out of most of these. Starfield, like was mentioned by Jez, probably not going to be there. That will probably have its own kind of event style thing this year, since that's supposed to come out in the first half of 2023. There was that Fable game that was announced. I don't think that'll be there. Forza could likely be there, Hellblade 2, I think makes sense. That game's probably soon. Elder Scrolls 6, I doubt that's going to be there. Ark 2, I doubt that's going to be there. Stalker 2, Heart of Chernobyl, this apparently is really, really far along. I know the invasion of Ukraine by Russia kind of delayed that, but people have had their hands on this game in some sort of testing formats. Redfall, I think that makes sense. State of Decay 3, probably not. Outer Worlds 2, probably not. Perfect Dark, that game's fucking internally canceled. Everwild, and then I have on here too, Warhammer 40k Darktide for consoles, which I think just released on PC. So I don't know if we missed anything there, but those are some other potential ones that might be there. But I tend to agree with you, and I just think it's really important for Xbox to start announcing release dates and hitting those release dates and making sure these games are good, because they're really going to have their tail between their leg this year with the FTC stuff, which they really probably do not want to dictate their entire news cycle this year.
Yeah.
So I don't know. We'll see, I suppose. But they need
Yeah,
to
they
hit
just have
it.
they have to kind of like soften expectations a little bit, like PlayStation does, and say this broadcast will be about blank, blank, and blank. Do
Right.
not expect any information about blank. Right.
Right.
So,
Right. We'll see. We'll see.
all right, Josh. Main topic of the day. This is a big one. We are huge fans of The Last of Us, and both games, 1 and 2.
Yep.
And now the HBO series is coming January 15th, I believe.
Correct.
Reviews are in.
They are.
Critics got to check out the 9 episodes, and
They did.
Josh, I'm here to tell you something.
Tell me.
It debuted with a 100% on Rotten Tomatoes. It has
Insane.
since gone down.
Yes, but continue. Go ahead.
Not very much. I'm going to pull it up right now just so I can get a sense. We're at 96%, which is fantastic for anything, let alone a
96%
video
with
game.
how many reviews? 40? 30? 40?
Earlier it was 30. I can't see how many. Does not look like they're going to show me how many.
I'll look it up. You go ahead. It's 59 reviews.
So that's fantastic,
It's
actually.
actually at 97% now.
Okay, well, there you go. So critic reviews, many outlets are calling this the greatest video game adaptation ever made,
Insane.
and also a fantastic show on its own.
Previously, that title was held by Werewolves Within.
That's right. It was. So Megan Navarro of Bloody Disgusting wrote a review. I just highlighted a couple of reviews here that I wanted to bring up with you.
Megan Navarro is awesome.
Well, her review is also awesome because she said, The Last of Us isn't afraid to ask challenging questions with no easy answers or no answers at all. That it's so exceptionally and meticulously crafted means that it has effectively shattered the ceiling for video game adaptations.
Can I comment on that first sentence?
Yeah.
The Last of Us isn't afraid to ask challenging questions with no easy answers or no answers at all. If I had to summarize what makes The Last of Us, specifically even part 2, but definitely the first game too, gutting and as impactful as it is literally that right there.
Yeah, she nailed it.
Yeah. Continue.
I have another one here from Keith Phipps, which is an awesome name. Keith Phipps. He's from TV Guide. So the 9 episodes of this first season largely focus on faithfully adapting the first game. Happily, they do this extremely well, though. It's the moments that stretch beyond the game's established narrative and expand its world that elevate it.
So it sounds like the common themes are, the nomenclature that it's the best video game adaptation of all time, one of the best adaptations of all time. That's good to hear. But it almost sounds like, from a lot of these reviews, and this was just a taste that you were giving people, but from what I've read too, is that it pays homage and is so faithful to the games, but it also adds feelings of almost like deleted scenes or expansions within beats of the narrative from the video game that really help drive it home, that maybe you can do in a more long form narrative format like this, where you couldn't even in a video game per se.
Right. That's 100% correct. It basically takes the game and adapts it, but then expands on that. And just apparently even that expanding is fantastic. Right.
Yeah. So before we get into this next part here, with all of that, first of all, I mean, I know we were probably going to watch it regardless, but does this have you excited or maybe more keen to try it out, right away since it's getting reviewed so well?
Definitely. Yeah. I'm going to watch it when it drops. Listen, I didn't watch Chernobyl, Craig Mazin's other project.
Oh, I thought you did.
I did not, but it got sucked off.
Dude, Chernobyl's fucking incredible. I thought you did. You were the one that recommended it to me, were you not?
Mm-mm.
I thought you were.
Maybe Jess watched it and she told me to tell you to watch it, but I did not watch it.
Chernobyl's awesome.
Yeah.
So
I want to watch it, but he got sucked off for that show and now he's doing this. So yeah, I'm definitely going to. What about you?
Oh yeah. Well, so this next part that we're going to talk about gave me pause.
Yeah.
But seeing how well it's getting reviewed, and listening to more about what Druckmann has said about it, and actually realizing that it was part of the lore of Last of Us before Spores were is, enough for me to check it out right away. So go ahead and continue.
Yeah, so we're going to be talking about tendrils. So you might have heard online that they're getting rid of the spores in The Last of Us's lore, and they're bringing these things called tendrils in. And to add to your point, actually, there was a deleted audio clip from The Last of Us that talks about tendrils.
Right.
Uh,
So
so
before we get into this, the spores, right, are basically how the virus is transmitted or how people become infected in The Last of Us.
breathe it in.
Right. And then it causes the cordyceps to form, and the longer you're infected, the more aggressive the cordyceps get, right, which all start from the spores. So in the game you wear masks and filters and stuff like that to navigate through areas which are spore infested and stuff like that. So this is kind of replacing spores from the video game.
Right. So Eurogamer reported on this tendril thing, and they said over the weekend a fairly big change came to light. In HBO's take on the series, the cordyceps infection will not be spread by spores in the air. Rather, it will be spread by tendrils that can become a network that is interconnected. During an interview with Collider, co-creators Neil Druckmann and Craig Mazin spoke more about the pandemic in general and how the infection would be depicted in the show. Quote, "It was important for us to acknowledge that the audience is smarter about pandemics than they were 5 years ago," Mazin stated. "We don't want to pretend that they don't know things," he said. A lot of the reason this show begins the way it does, with that scene in the 60s, likely the scene shown in a now deleted behind the scenes video, which depicted a talk show discussing infections. So the point of that is to say, look, the context is there. The context is there are viral pandemics and they are quite dangerous, but there's something out there that is worse. And it may sound funny to you, but let me explain why. And then you start to realize, oh, that's not good, which I think is awesome. And also, it's been there all along. So when the outbreak happens, it's not happening suddenly or capriciously. It's finally happening. It was always going to happen. We just happened to be there today to see it, he explained. And then Neil Druckmann added in, Druckmann went in on to address how the infection will spread in the show, stating the team did not want to have the cast wearing gas masks like we see at certain points in the game, which, side note, makes complete sense. You paid a lot of money for Pedro Pascal. You don't want to cover his face up with a mask. We already do that in Mandalorian.
I was going to say, what about the Mandalorian?
So, elaborating on this point, Druckmann said this eventually led to the idea of using tendrils instead of spores in the air. Quote, "And then just thinking about how there's a passage that happens from one infected to another, and like fungus does, it could become a network that is interconnected. It became very scary to think that they're all working against us in this unified way, which was a concept that I really liked that got developed in the show."
I think that is interesting, actually.
Yes.
So initially what gave me pause was this, because I didn't want the lore. I love The Last of Us so much, right? I didn't want the lore and the actual function of the virus to change. And the way I originally read it was like, oh, that's more visual. Oh, you're appealing to normies, whatever it is. And it seems like that might partially be the case for the visual storytelling aspect of it, but it doesn't really seem to detract anything and actually sounds almost more interesting than the spores do.
So it reminds me of Stranger Things fans will know what I'm talking about here. Vecna.
I'm not one of those.
Vecna has these vines that all are connected to a hive mind. And that's what this reminds me of, where these tendrils are kind of all working together. They have like this one brain. It almost makes it like it's not each individual zombie isn't a threat. It's like there is a thing behind all of the zombies that acts as like the mother brain almost. That kind of like I guess it's the fungus, right? The cordyceps. So it makes it a little more interesting. There's like one central thing behind all this outbreak. So it's interesting.
We'll see how it goes. But even more important than the actual virus or whatever, the pandemic itself that is kind of central to the storytelling is the characters. For The Last of Us, I would say that it's always about the characters and the drama between them in The Last of Us, rather than, the function of the world is really just kind of the backdrop of it. So to me, I'm more interested in actually seeing how Pedro Pascal and, what's the girl's name?
Bella Ramsey.
Bella Ramsey,
Sorry, I'm yawning.
how they play off of each other, and somehow some of the other characters kind of play into that too in the story. And I love Pedro Pascal. This is a big year for him. Last of Us and Mandalorian season 3.
And he was in that Nick Cage movie.
Yeah. So it should be
Wonder
interesting, and you know, I'm assuming as it comes out, maybe we'll talk about it every week, where it'll at least be in the top of the show for us every week, likely. So
that first episode is probably going to be a tear jerker.
yeah. Well, yes, knowing what we do about the beginning of the game. Yeah. So make sure you subscribe for that.
Yep.
Anything else to add about the Last of Us TV show before we wrap up, Brett?
I'm ready to wrap it up.
Well, my friend, I must tell you, that was a tight hour for us. That was good. You are so unbelievably bad. It's not even funny. All right, that'll do it for us. Make sure, you know, as we mentioned at the top of the show, call 904-878-2858 and drop us a line there, and you might hear yourself on episode 100, which will be in 3 weeks from now. So do that, leave a message, come back, make sure you're subscribed for that live show, and maybe you can end up on that show. I don't know what the format's going to be. I'm assuming we'll take any questions, but they could be video game related or otherwise, I suppose. Yeah, I have no idea about that. We'll talk about that more. Anything else to add, Brett?
I love you all.
All right, make sure you are subscribed. Make sure you follow us on all social media platforms. All links in the description. And if you're listening on audio feeds too, we love you.
I see the Christian rain of fall, and the beauty of his dawn, it when the suns come shining through. To make the rainbow in my mind, when I think of for some time, and I can spend some time with you. Just the two of us, we can.
It's going to be the new outro every year. Every week.
All right.